All right, guys, so this is just like a really quick overview here. So I posted this video on a couple pages, and I got a lot of people asking questions about how I set it up and how does it work. So this is the video. I'm just going to play it really quick just for a refresher. This is a Roland anti-lag for Holley EFI. I run a Holley Dominator EFI. I have a 4.64 valve. I have a Lentex strip terminator 4R70W. It's full electronic. And then anyways, here's a quick video. This is just like a test hit. It's on 93 pump gas. The car makes like 710 to the wheels on 93 pump. And all right, so the stutter that happens here in the video right there, that's the actual anti-lag boost builder function working. But anyways, let me go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and go over here to my Holley. I run a Holley Dominator EFI. I'm on version 6, just so everybody knows. It's same for version 5. I don't know about the versions prior to that, but I know version 5 and version 6, this is all the same. So to set it up, what we're going to do is we're going to go over the system parameters. We're going to go to the ignition parameters, and then they have rev limiter main for over rev. They have rev limiter number 1 and rev limiter number 2. In my car, rev limiter number 1 is my rev limiter for my trans brake. So, you know, I'm not going to mess around with that. We're going to stick with rev limiter number 2. And I actually deselected everything, so that way you guys can see, you know, how the selections are made and where they are in the system. So I'm going to go ahead and enable rev limit number 2. I have the RPM set the same as my trans brake setup. I have my Roland anti-lag basically set up exactly like my trans brake is, except for it's used while the car is moving. So it's enabled. I'm going to go over to the pin map. I already know where my pin map is going to be set. I already have it all in the car. It's already been working. But just for reference, I did remove everything just so that way you could see. So now that I selected it, I have an unassigned input. So I'm gonna slide it down here. I'm gonna be A11 input number 9. Mine is a 12 volt positive. I'll tell you why here in a second. But you can also set it up as a ground. It just depends how you want to set it up. I wanted to have like a 2 button or 2 switch feature for safety. We're gonna go back to the system parameters, and then on the left side drop box in system parameters, you're going to go to your inputs and outputs, and then it shows rev limiter number 2. It's the J2 A11 pin location, and you can just select it whether you want it to be a ground or a 12 volt. And I have mine set to a positive, a 12 volt positive. And at this point right now, in the computer here, it's going to be a functioning switch if you have it hooked up. So I'm going to go ahead and set up the actual boost builder function and what it's doing, because I do have a slight timing offset while it's in the rev limit in order to, you know, have it create boost as quickly as possible. You know, because typically, you know, when you're going to get in it, you know, you're already rolling. You want it to work quick. So you don't want to be sitting there for 6 seconds while you're waiting for it to work. You know, this works very quickly. I would say that it starts making boost immediately as soon as it touches the rev limit. All right, so I'm going to go to my tables, because I have a bunch of different tables set up. So I'm going to go to my advanced tables. It's going to be in my 1D table setting. We're in table 5. We're in an advanced table. I'm on table 5. I have enabled the table. I named it. I selected the timing offset in the drop-down menu as the table type that I want to use. And then the axis for this table is going to be boost. So once you're set up on that, you're going to come down here. It's going to be switched enable. And then the table will activate when rev limiter number 2 is enabled, which means it is only going to work. This function only works while you have it completely enabled. You know, whether you're holding your button down or you got a switch that you click up or whatever, you know, I recommend it either a button or something that you can release. because that way it works the quickest way possible. So I accidentally just deleted all this by accident, but it's really easy for me to fix that because my rolling anti-lag table is set up exactly like my trans brake table. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here and I'm just going to copy and paste all the information right over to my other table, which is my anti-lag table. Once I paste this on here, it'll start showing up again. And if you don't have a table set up, if you don't have something set up, that's fine. I wouldn't recommend just making one on your own unless you know a lot about tuning. I'm not an avid tuner. I don't tune cars. I don't claim to tune cars. I'm not telling you this is exactly how you should set yours up. I'm not saying that you should have these exact numbers on yours because all these cars are different. Motors are different, transmissions are different, builds are different, internals are different. It's just really smart. If you want to set something like this up, you could set it up without all of this. Just set it up with your rev limit, the 4,200 RPM rev limit, and it'll still work very similarly. It'll make a little bit of boost, and it'll still work very similarly. The best way to get it to function, the best way possible, is to have the timing offset set up within your rev limit 2. The reason is because, without the timing offset, you're probably not going to make boost the way you want it to. It's not going to do it as fast. Let's just say that it won't do it as fast. So you could set all this up yourself, but I definitely highly recommend you take it to a tuner and have them tune this in. They're going to know, exactly what the timing offsets and everything that are going to be that they're going to have to do. Because like I said, I don't claim to be a tuner. I'm not a tuner. My tuner set all this up for me and helped me out with it. And I'm learning as I go. I've been driving the car now for about 3 summers, and I'm still learning as I go. So, if you're like me and you don't mind messing with it and doing things with it, that's great. But definitely get the advice of your professional tuner or whoever it is that's doing all the tuning on your car, because that's how you're going to get the best optimal result, without the least likelihood of catastrophic failure, which, we all know that in this type of thing that could happen at any time. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, that's it. It's working right now. As far as how I have mine hooked up, I have a toggle switch in the center console, and I have a wire going from my brake switch underneath the dash that my brake pedal goes to. That's what activates your brake lights, the brake switch. So I have the wire going from the brake switch wire positive to the toggle switch, and then from the toggle switch to the input on the ECU. So literally, as soon as I turn the toggle switch on, that basically arms the other switch. As soon as I touch the brake, I'm not actually depressing the brakes. I'm only touching the brake pedal enough to activate the rear brake lights. As soon as I do that, it puts a 12-volt signal. It goes through the toggle switch into the ECU. I push my foot to the floor. I hold my foot to the floor. It goes to the main rev limit number 2, 4,200 RPM. And then the table, this 1D table here, is what does the timing offset in order for it to make boost really quickly. I mean, as you can see from the video, that lag in that very small lag, that very light, very short time period, it went from making, 0 pounds to 8 pounds in that short time period. So it went from 0 to 8, and then as soon as I let my foot pressure off of that brake pedal to release the switch, it's going to revert to whatever boost building setup you have for your normal boost building. Mine on a street tune is 19 pounds and went from 8 to 19 pounds, which I wish you could see it in the video, but it'll get, that part of it gets a little blurry because my nephew's hand was moving. But it goes from 8 to 19 pounds in less than a second. And it's instant. I mean, you can see from the video that it instantly works. It's like leaving the line with on the trans brake. It's like leaving the line off a two-step. It is literally an instantaneous boost building application for while you're rolling. So, you know, I hope that this helps a little bit. I mean, I had a lot of questions. I was answering a lot of questions. I was showing people as much as I could, explaining to it. I hope that this video gives you a little bit more of an idea of what's going on. You know, please call your tuner. If you have a tuner, if you have someone that you trust, call them. Don't just go out and go crazy unless you know exactly, if you're, you know, like well versed in the Holley EFI and you're well versed at tuning and you understand timing and all that other crazy jazz. You know, I just recommend you call your tuner, let them know what you want to do. You can set up all the switches, you can do everything yourself. You could pretty much get this whole thing set up, you know, set up your rev limit and everything. But when it comes to the actual timing offsets, talk to your tuner, you know, talk to the, you know, your friends, the guys that you trust that know this stuff before you get out there and go crazy. You know, we don't want anybody to hurt their car or themselves. So just be smart about it, and you know, respect your build and respect your power. So, you know, have fun. I hope that this explains things a little bit better, and you guys are able to set something up for yourself.